What's up guys, Ron O'Connor here with Art of Fitness, and today I'm bringing you a highly requested video. And it's something I used to struggle with immensely when I first started lifting. And that is how to go from skinny to actually having, noticeable muscle. Where people are like, oh, you actually lift, not do you even lift, bro? And I'm talking specifically from experience, right? I'm gonna show some pictures now of how skinny I literally used to be. So there's always that, maybe you're too skinny, or there's the kind of hard gainer category. And this video is gonna cover both of those. And what I'm gonna do is lean on my experience that I didn't have in the past, but I do now, of being a certified strength and conditioning specialist and going to school for sports medicine. And I not only have the experience for myself, right, how I actually gained muscle eventually, took a little bit, right, some trial and some error, and I'm gonna help you guys get there faster, but I also had a lot of friends, family, and some clients that have dealt with this same issue. So I'm gonna keep it really simple. I'm gonna give you 3 steps to start gaining muscle today if you think you're too skinny or you think you're a hard gainer. So let's do number 1 right now. So step number 1, it's gonna sound obvious, but if you're a hard gainer or you're a skinny guy trying to put on some muscle, trust me that this is commonly overlooked. If you put yourself in this category, more than likely you have a very fast metabolism, which is a blessing, because as you get older, it's gonna be really awesome. But when you're trying to put on muscle, it's not a blessing, it's a curse, right? And the reason this is obvious is probably because you've been told it before, right? You hear the people talking about bulking, you just need to eat more, dirty bulk, right? These kind of things. But I really don't think you know how much you have to eat if you have a fast metabolism. Especially if you're younger and this is kind of your first go at trying to gain muscle, you really need to wolf down some calories. And I also think a lot of people, and I know this from one of my buddies, right, Kev, is I remember he thought he was eating enough. And I'm like, dude, well, like, cause it was a couple months and he was not gaining anything. We were doing the same program. We both started kind of at the same time. Obviously genetics are a role, right? But you should be gaining some muscle when you first start out. So what I had him do was track his calories, just simply in MyFitnessPal. And this guy thought he was eating like 3,000 calories. He was literally on a daily basis eating like 1,200 calories. So I think when you're first getting into this and you're new, it's hard to imagine how much like 3,000 calories is. So that'd be my tip here. Obviously eat more. But if you think you're eating enough and it's not working, then you really need to track your calories just for maybe a week to kind of get your running average and add 500 to that, add 1,000 to that. You're not gonna get fat if you're the skinny guy, right, or the hard gainer. There's really no downside at the beginning to just putting in so many calories if you're putting in the work. If you're going to the gym consistently, I would not be worried about laying on tons of fat. You're gonna stay lean, you're gonna be building muscle. It's one of those amazing times, that beginner stage, where you can build muscle while also losing fat. It's an amazing time, so enjoy it. Now for step number 2, don't overcomplicate things. In the beginning, it's very easy to be like oohed and awed about all the fancy movements and the fancy programming that you can get into, right? No, at the beginning, if you're still in this skinny stage or hard gainer stage, you just need to do progressive overload. You need to eat right? Get enough protein, obviously, like we just talked about in step 1. But you also need to just keep adding weight to the most basic movements. It's gonna be boring, but it's not, because you should be enjoying just tons of gains, right? All you have to do is there's biceps, triceps, legs. It doesn't really matter the movements. You don't need to do fancy eccentrics, partial range of motion, nothing. Just do full range of motion with control, right? You want eccentric control, but you don't need to do like a 3-second eccentric bicep curl. Not necessary at this point. Keep your lifts basic. You can literally just do sets of 3, anywhere from 6 to 12 reps. As long as you're getting close to failure in that rep range, right? 6 to 12, you don't really need to even change those sets for a while. Just increase the weight, because really all you can do is modulate 3 things: volume, intensity, and frequency. And in the beginning, I would literally just focus on load, right? Or the weight. Just make the weight go up. Go to the gym 3 to 5 times per week and increase the weight by, this is a very rough rule, right? 5 pounds on upper body moves per week, or 10 pounds on lower body moves per week. Do that for pretty much as long as you can until you start hitting a point where maybe you're doing less than 6 reps. Then we can get into what you'd have to do next. But for this video, I'm gonna keep it there. That's all you need to do, and that will put you in the gains category for sure. Now for step number 3, and I saved the best for last, but it's also the most boring for last, and it's that you have to be consistent. And not only do you have to consistently go to the gym, right? That should also be obvious, similar to you need to eat more. Gains are not made in the gym. That's where you actually create damage, right? The only time that you're actually making gains is the other, let's say you go to the gym an hour, 23 hours of the day. That's what you need to focus on. That's where that diet comes in. That's also where the biggest part of this all really is that sleep. Recovery is where you're making the gains. It's where you're actually adding muscle, creating new muscle cells, creating new size, right? New veins as you get older too. I think it's just because our skin gets thinner, but still it's cool regardless, right? You will get more vascular as you get more muscle, but you have to consistently go to the gym, right? You can't just start taking weeks off when you don't start seeing stuff. This is gonna be a long process. I was there, right? I was very skinny. I had a hard time gaining muscle in the beginning. You have to keep showing up, and then you really have to dial everything outside of the gym, especially sleep. Because I feel like, you know, when you're younger, right? I was in college when this was kind of going on. It's the easiest thing to do is you have the lifting down, you have the nutrition down, and you go out and party and you don't sleep, right? Or you're studying for your exam and you're cramming and you don't sleep. The essay, right? I could go on. Sleep is so crucial, and I promise if you dial that in 6 hours to 7 hours a night, if you're consistent with that, consistent with your diet, and going to the gym, which should be the easiest part, you will put on gains. Whether or not you're gonna look like what you wanna look like, I can't promise you anything, right? But it's so cool finding out what you can actually achieve when you really get your ducks in the row, as they say, right? So that's really all I have for you in this video. I just thought I was thinking about it the other day, and I have helped, obviously myself, and a lot of other people with this problem. And I think more commonly than not, it's gonna be the eating and the sleep thing. Most guys that I know and clients that I've helped, they can go to the gym. They can put up the weight, they're progressively overloading the weight, but it's those other factors that it's very easy to sleep on. No pun intended, right? But you're not doing those things to the point that you need to, because that's where muscle is built. So if you like this kind of video, you should subscribe, don't miss another one, and I'll see you in the next one.